Chapter 62-52. Jimmy was a little unsure at this time and said to Charlie, "Mr. Wade, this condition is indeed a bit harsh. Will Ellis boss agree to it?" Charlie said if it's just you who said it, he will definitely not agree. But if Steve expresses his opinion, he will definitely agree. Steve thought, Charlie is too cruel. He can do such a bad thing. I have to help him be a bad guy once. But he said very firmly, "Mr. Wade, don't worry. I will definitely put enough pressure on him. From now on, you can use Ellis as your own law firm as long as you want. If their boss dares to say a word, I will make him pay." "Okay." Charlie nodded with satisfaction, then this matter is settled. After that, he turned to look at Mai Ching and said, "Aunt Han, Jimmy will bring 10 other lawyers to Oris Hill to report to you in half a month. The company is expected to be registered by then. And they can go straight to work. You will be in charge of them then." Mai Ching was amazed at Charlie's series of unconventional operations. Jimmy was also treated leniently, which made her feel relieved, so she quickly said, "Okay, Charlie, I will arrange it then." Charlie nodded and said to Pollard, "Uncle, after the wedding, you and Aunt Han will go on your honeymoon as usual. And the work here will be temporarily promoted by the Yin family." "Okay." Pollard said hurriedly, "Let's end the honeymoon as soon as possible and try to get to work in a week. Don't be in a hurry." Charlie smiled and said, "There are still many procedures and preparations to be done in the early stage. The Wade family still has to come to sign the contract and complete the press conference. You and Aunt Han can come back in half a month." After that, Charlie looked at Jimmy again and said, "It's almost time. I will go on stage to give a thank you speech on behalf of the bride and groom. As a guest who has come from afar, after I give my speech, you must go on stage and tell everyone why you just made a scene in public and knelt on the ground crying for a long time. There must be a reason that can convince everyone." Jimmy said without hesitation, "I have thought about it. When the time comes, I will tell the truth and say that I am a shameless rogue. I originally wanted to take this opportunity to snatch the shares of Smith Law Firm. So I shouted in public. And I knelt down and cried bitterly because I was touched by the sincerity of my sister-in-law and her husband Mr. Watt during the confrontation. They made me feel that family affection is far more important than interests. So I also deeply realized my mistakes and actively corrected them in exchange for their forgiveness. At the same time, I will also tell everyone that after being inspired by the two of them, I decided to stay in Oris Hill and contribute to the new project they are about to launch." Charlie said in surprise, "Sure, you have understood the etiquette and human relations. So let's do it as you say." Since Pollard and Mai Ching's wedding omitted many traditional procedures, they had much more time. Even though Jimmy had caused such a scene, it did not affect the normal progress of the wedding. The guests present had previously witnessed the whole process of Jimmy coming to find fault, and knew that this was a matter of the bride's ex-husband's family. So it was difficult for everyone to intervene. As for what Jimmy was talking about with Charlie, Steve and others later, the guests were not very clear. They just saw that Jimmy was very arrogant at first. And suddenly he knelt on the ground and cried, which made everyone confused. Now, Charlie has solved Jimmy's troubles. And it is almost time to hold the ceremony. So Charlie stepped onto the stage to open the wedding. He first welcomed and thanked the guests, and then expressed his honor as a junior to be invited to be the host and witness. After an opening statement, he continued, "Just as our guests were entering, a friend was quite emotional at the scene. I believe everyone has seen it. This friend is named Jimmy Smith. He is the uncle of the son of today's bride, Ms. Mai Ching. Now I would like to invite Mr. Smith to the stage to explain to everyone what happened just now and to send wedding blessings to today's bride and groom." When everyone heard that the guy who had caused trouble just now was going to take the stage to give a speech, their gossiping souls were aroused. After a round of applause, they looked forward to Jimmy's waiting.